Hello world, it is Wednesday, October 14th. A little overcast this morning, cool. It was a nice day for a run though. I did a run this morning, but I did something a little bit different. So I did what's called repeats, where I kind of jog slow for about a half mile and then would speed up for maybe a minute and then slow down to a walk jog and then speed up and keep doing that up and down. I think I did 9 times, and then roughly at the end, about a half mile cool down. It's just a way to increase leg speed and improve a workout without really having the overall pace be any different than a normal run. So it was a good morning. I feel good. Definitely need coffee though this morning. Today's devotional is Insatiable Truth, written by Fiwa Lenjeni. I hope I'm pronouncing their name right. And Fiwa based the devotion upon John chapter 6, verse 26 from the Message. Jesus answered, "You've come looking for me not because you saw God in my actions, but because I fed you, filled your stomachs." And Fiwa writes, in elementary school, lunchtime was more intricate than just a time for students to eat food. There were so many lunches prepared that never made it into the intended students' bodies, as they were traded for desserts, pencils, or even coveted spots in line next to crushes. Early in the school year, it became clear who would be good for what kinds of trades. Jackie had bologna white bread sandwiches sliced in half on the diagonal with the crusts cut off. AJ had the sweetest grapes and apple slices that never seemed to turn brown before lunchtime. Alicia's juice boxes featured popular cartoons and exotic flavors. My lunches were plain, inexpensive enough to feed my 4 siblings and me on an immigrant family's budget, so I swiftly learned how to negotiate with non-food desirables. And then there was Vinny, whose appearance communicated his family was poor, but he'd always have now and later candy, which was a hot item. As soon as we could begin trading, we moved quickly to gain the best leverage before crowding Vinny while he still had his coveted item. Then the bell would ring for recess, and we'd scatter to play with our regular groups of friends. Vinny would sit quietly on a bench by himself. And Fiwa's prayer: enable us to seek you, not just when you fill us with your goodness, gracious God. Challenge us to witness your actions, especially when they don't benefit us. Compel us to be your activity in the world so that others might experience you through us, our words, and every action. Amen. Well, as with most of the devotionals, there's lots of different things that come out for me. One of which is that how often as we as humans are motivated by what we can get for ourselves and not motivated for what we can do for others. I think the experience that Fiwa had in the lunchroom and the trading was really that. People were out for what they could get for themselves, not for what they could get for one another. As evidenced by Vinny, came from a poor family, didn't have much, but people wanted his candy. But once the candy was gone, they didn't want him. The other thing it made me think of is a quote from Desmond Tutu about hunger. When people were hungry, Jesus didn't say, "Now is that political or social?" He said, "I feed you," because the good news to a hungry person is bread. Sometimes, it made me think about how sometimes our actions, our altruistic actions to help others, can sometimes be motivated by what we can get for ourselves. Sometimes even a feeling of doing something good to make ourselves feel better. But should that be really the motivating factor behind what we're doing? Or should we do it simply to spread the love of God in the world and not expect anything in return? Lots to think about. Kind of goes with what I talked about yesterday, or was it 2 days ago? I don't remember. Maybe 2 days ago, talking about systemic issues It's good to feed people, like the Backpack Buddies program that we do at the church. It's good to do those things, but it's also good to try to understand what causes that kind of need in the first place and do what we can to resolve that need. That's the way Christ thought. That's the way we ought to think too. So hope you have a good day, and I will talk to you again tomorrow.